He just jumped. He never jumps up on me, but I'm like,
Aw.
everybody's got to see the puppy here. Come on.
Okay.
If I leave, that means he's telling me he has to go out. So bear with me.
Okay, no worries. You can
Thank
leave
you.
at any time if you need to.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I mentioned, we're just going to go over how to make summer learning engaging. Again, at the end, if you guys have any tips, any programs, anything that might be helpful for any of the other tutors, please let us know or let me know, and I'll include it in my PowerPoint. But to start off, definitely when it comes to engaging your students, you're going to want to use your visuals as a form of engagement with them. I think one of the most important things is that the child is able to see you. Because if they're not able to see you, they don't have anyone to engage with them. So first things first, just have your webcam open, engage with the camera, almost like you're looking at them in the eye. Another really good thing is just make sure any of the slides that you use, any of the videos that you use are clear, that they're able to see it. It's just going to be more motivating for them to actually be able to see a person. Okay, the next is going to be the same thing, just with your audio. Some things like using audio clips, videos, just make sure prior to the meeting that you are able to test out those videos and test out if you're able to go ahead and broadcast those videos with the sound. I do have previous trainings on Zoom and on Google Meet on how to kind of share videos that have sound in it. So I definitely would recommend you guys go back and review those videos. But, I think one of the more important things is also your internet connection, that it's stable. If your internet's cutting in and out, it's going to be hard for the child to stay engaged. So, just make sure you're in an environment where you have some good internet. Okay, some other things are just utilizing the platform that you're using. I know some platforms have whiteboard, you have pointer options, you can do some virtual games, any drawings. You can actually do them straight through Zoom or through Google Meet. Yes, Brandy, you had a question? I think you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, how do I find that stuff? I'm not computer challenged, but I am computer challenged, if that makes any sense. Like I'm totally new to this whole Zoom, Google Meet stuff. I haven't, like, I've chosen to do Google Meet.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
I don't know how to share videos. I don't know how to find videos. I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, so what I can do is I can direct you to our YouTube channel, and then I can make sure to include that in the materials that I will send out later today. So
Okay.
I'll send you the video of Google Meet, since you're doing Google Meet.
Okay.
But if you did want to search us up on YouTube, we are the Sunshine Method.
Okay.
On YouTube, and you'll see the workshop trainings on there. So just look for Google Meets workshop training. And I think as some more new tutors come in, we will have another training on Google Meets, because it is one of the primary platforms that our tutors are using because it's free.
Okay, so when I go to the YouTube channel, what did you say it was? The Sunshine Method?
The Sunshine Method, yes, that's correct. And then I believe that the video would be called workshop training on Google Meets.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, of course. Okay. And then in that video, it includes, how to share your screen, how to share your PowerPoint, how to use the whiteboard to draw games and things like that. So definitely recommend it. And it's also a good way to utilize like fun breaks with the kids. You know, if you do have a video on, let's say like a dance break, and you let them know, hey, we're gonna work on X, Y, and Z, and when we're done, we're gonna have a dance break.
Okay.
Or if another kid is, you know, likes something else, you may want to cater your fun breaks and your rewards to what they like. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I just have been hesitant to pick a kid, for lack of a better way of putting it, or put my name in for that kid, because I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't know. I mean, I realize you don't kind of know the kid till you meet the kid and have a couple of sessions to you know, learn about them. But I just have no way. I have no direction on what to do about that. I was a para, so the teacher gave me the instruction, and then I did it in my way. So getting that all together, I don't have that knowledge base. I don't understand what to do. So if you could give me some direction on that, that would be so great.
Yeah, and I can definitely give you some more direction after today's meeting.
Okay.
If you want, maybe you can stay afterwards and we can go over, you know, like what to do from the matching process up until the end.
I would love that. Thank you so much.
Yes. And then here are some additional videos that will be helpful. Now, that workshop training that I did have, that was maybe a 2-hour long workshop because I just had so many questions and so much material. But these are 2 videos that they're about 10-15 minutes, and they go over quickly some of those features that that you might need help with.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, the next thing will be to figure out what your student likes. You know, some of the children that come in, when we do our first phone calls with the family, we like to ask, what do they like to do? What do they like to watch? What do they like to play? And some families don't have that information just because they've had that child for such a short amount of time. But some of them will be like, you know, so-and-so loves to watch Disney princesses, so-and-so loves to watch dinosaurs or art or Roblox, things of that nature, Minecraft, space, things like that. And we can utilize that in the tutoring session. And actually, with that being said, there's some awesome virtual field trips that your child might love, or you can spark a new interest in them. And I'm going to be putting like a small list of just like those virtual field trips. And I actually was able to go through those videos, and it was actually really interesting because you got to see the elephants and all those things like that. The first virtual field trip that I took a tour on is the zoo. And now there's many zoos that are doing this. So I in that link that I have is going to be a list of zoos that have the virtual like field trips, and you can actually see the elephant cam, the giraffe cam, the panda cam, the hippo cam, all of these awesome animals in the zoos, and you can visit different zoos. And I took a look at them. I took a look at their lion cam, and I thought it was super cool. So I could only imagine how much cooler it would be for you know, a child that hasn't really seen these animals in person. And then another field trip. Yes, Sherry? Sorry.
It's okay. For rewards, I have found that my children request different activities that I have introduced them to. One of my students loves word searches because her gap is in vocabulary. I include her vocabulary words in those word searches. She thinks she's having fun and getting a treat and a reward, but is learning at the same time. The other one is hangman. She has problem with her sentence syntax. So I include those terminologies in the hangman activity. And so that she is also learning, but she is thinking that she is having a treat. I have another student who loves skyscrapers. His gap area is in writing. So we are writing about skyscrapers, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you for those ideas. I wrote them down so that I can include them in the PowerPoint for additional help for some tutors. Yeah, and with these field trips, you can always utilize an academic resource with them. You know, if you're going to watch the Lion Cam, maybe you can read a book about lions with them. Or if you're if you're going through the aquarium, you know, you can read a book with them. You can, okay, what did you learn? Okay, now let's learn a little bit more about these things, you know, with the reading comprehension. Another field trip that I saw was the aquarium, and which is really cool. We saw some jelly cams, some shark cams, whale cams. So it was very interesting. Definitely something I recommend. Another really cool one was the farm. Farm Food 360. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of them before. They typically provide, you know, the eggs, like the organic eggs, and they actually have their process, their farms, and you can actually see cams on their livestock as well. So it would be an interesting thing to include the child in that process. There's art museums that you can attend as well. Some from Greece, Los Angeles, some cool Egyptian artifacts, paintings, buildings of, you know, Egyptian artifacts. Met Kids is also another museum that allows you to go through their program or their museum. Found a Star Wars ABC order and fix the sentence. Yeah. If a child loves Star Wars, you know, include that, you know. Some other field trips that I saw were national parks, so volcanoes, Grand Canyons, Yellowstones, the planetarium, a recycling center. Anything that is highlighted in blue actually has a URL link, so you can actually take a look at what that program includes. Some Slime in Space, the Johnson Space Center, the White House tour, Mars, a fake Mars tour, the National Museum of the United States Air Force. You know, if a child is interested in these different things, it might be interesting to actually go through that with them. And another thing with these students, maybe a little bit older, is just having goals for them and letting them know, as well as their achievements once they have done those goals. Something nice is to just keep track of what they've accomplished since they've started with you. You know, if they're not able to count from 1 to 5, but, you know, within their first month with you, they're able to count 1 to 10, you can let them know, like, wow, like you're able to do counting. When we first started, you couldn't do that, but now look how smart you are. Look how much you're able to accomplish, and look how much more we're going to accomplish. Like, this is our next goal. This is something else that we can do. And something else I really thought was cool about the goals is, after learning each academic or achieving each academic stage, is having them write what they've learned. So I learned how to count numbers from 1 to 10, whatever it is, and have a document or a learning tree with them. And maybe they can draw a picture of what they've learned or what they've accomplished while with you. And then you'll be able to start seeing that this learning tree will start increasing with those pictures that you did with them. And it's almost like a little motivation for them, or a visual motivation with the child. And I think it's really cool idea if you can show them at the end of the session just what they've been able to accomplish since being with you. And to those of you who just joined us, we're just going over how to make summer learning engaging. I do have this lesson recorded, so we did go over about like 12 slides already. So if you wanted to see that recording for those first couple of things, we went over field trips, we went over utilizing the activities through Zoom and Google Meets. So if you would like to go back, you can.
Thank you.
Another thing is about keeping those lessons interactive. Now, these long, dense texts might even be hard for you guys to kind of read, verbatim with me. So you imagine how much harder it might be for a child who has ADHD or a child who is in the 4th grade and they have very low focus. So something I always say is keep it simple, keep it small, and work your way up from there. If you need to start small and work your way up, do it. That way you can keep that child engaged. If you have a reading passage with them, don't put the whole thing on one page. Break it down between each page so that they're not overwhelmed by multiple pictures, by a bunch of texts. And something that I saw was, you want to have the lesson be interactive. There shouldn't really be silence. Now, there is times where it is silence, so not saying don't have silence, but you really want it to be interactive, and you want to ask questions. You want them to be answering during tutoring. So you want to make sure that the materials that you are going over, that you kind of go over like what you're going to say and what you're going to go over with them. So if it's a reading passage, having some questions already pre-prepared for them so that you're not waiting or thinking about questions while you're with them in the classroom. Okay, thank you so much for the resources. I definitely am going to write that down and add that to the presentation. Thank you. And then with that, just make those lessons digestible. Anything lengthy might be a little bit hard for them, anything with too much text, and mixing up the activities that you're doing, the tempo of your lessons, what you're going to be doing with them. Don't make it too constructive with them, and that they know exactly what's going to be going on in tutoring. Another thing is a lot of these students do have a hard time with online tutoring, and they're not able to have in-person tutoring, and they can have a hard time feeling motivated in class. And I found that when the tutors have made them feel valued, encouraged, and motivated, they have done the best. One thing is utilizing their name so that they know that their name, like, great job, Ariana, great job on this. Like, so they know exactly, they know that you know them, especially in the beginning. If you're starting off with a student, definitely utilize that tip, just utilizing their name in the session so that they can have a connection with you, and make sure that they know yours. If you want them to call you Miss Ariana, Miss, teacher, whatever it is, make sure that they're also getting to know you. Another thing is just following up on their previous lessons so that they really know what they've learned and what they will be learning. And just positive feedback, encouragement, and just be present in the moment can really help motivate the students. Let's see. I have a couple. Using bullet points to separate text. Yes, I love that. Utilizing bullet points, pre-selecting your questions. ReadWorks, thank you for that as well. Yes, Laura? You're muted, so you're gonna have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
Yes. I know, it takes a little time. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I was wondering, there's two areas that I'd like to advance in. Google Docs and how to incorporate that in my tutoring. Is there a video on that? And I want to learn how to make my own YouTube videos because I'm not finding what I need.
I'm not sure what just happened.
I think I lost you guys.
Yes, I heard some of that. Your audio is kind of going in and out. I think I heard if we had any videos on Google Docs. Is that correct?
Hold on. Let me take my headset off.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to
Okay.
turn off the headset.
Turn off the headset.
I can hear you much better now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
All right. See, I'm trying to use these headsets and they're not working for me, so I'm going to stop using them. Google Docs is something that I really want to learn how to use because I hear there's a lot of information in there. And I want to learn how to do my own YouTube videos. My granddaughter has told me, she's 11, that she'll teach me how to do that. So, because I'm just not finding the material that I want for the student that I'm tutoring. So I was wondering, do you do any of that?
So I currently don't have trainings on the Google Docs and how to do your own YouTube video, but I
Okay.
definitely can, if that is going to be helpful. I can definitely send out some materials on how to make a YouTube video. The way that
Okay.
I typically do them, because I do make additional training videos on our YouTube channel, and I like to utilize Zoom or Google Meets so that you can just record your screen and you
Well,
can.
I went on and bought a prescription for Zoom because I like it. So I took my first month's earning and purchased Zoom. And I'm loving it. I'm having a few little problems, which I'm going to have to call customer service with, but I think they can be fixed. So that's going to be my choice, my platform choice.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot more probably in there that I haven't even learned how to use yet. So every day I'm learning more and more and more. I think my problem is I'm starting from the very beginning with 11-year-old. So, and it's very slow. She doesn't have enough hours. So in between the tutoring sessions, she's forgotten what we even went over the one before. And it makes it, you know I have to be repetitive, but it makes it kind of hard. I've been working on a month with the word the. And, and I've had that with other children, like one little girl, I took her 3 months to learn 7. So I don't know what was going on there, but I understand those things happen. But I just really want to, I think I'm now very anxious to learn as quickly as I can how to teach this child.
Yeah. And I do see where those YouTube videos can help them out with. I think another thing is having family collaborating with you. I know a lot of the children that we're working with are, low income households, single mothers, foster care systems. So it might be hard for them to do that collaboration, but you can always ask the family and be like, hey, we're learning the word the. Is there any way that in your day-to-day life you can kind of help her teach or help her learn that word in a natural environment? so that she can learn it, so that, because most of the times we have tutoring once a week, right? Or maybe twice a week for 30 minutes, depending on the authorization and depending on the child. So it can be kind of
Right.
hard for them from week to week to remember what they learned last week. But if you're able to collaborate with the families and you're able to be like, hey, this is what we learned today. Are you able to, count with her to 7, every night before she goes to bed, so that by the time we have our tutoring, we can move on to 10, something like that. And again, some families don't have that time, can't really do that, but you can always ask, and that might be a great way to get them to collaborate with you.
Okay, one other thing that's very important for me is I'm having a problem figuring out how to get her to use the writing on her end. I can write on the whiteboard. And I even have access to some of the illustrations, and I can circle and do things. But we're having trouble giving her access to write. So I'm thinking maybe it's something I'm not doing, or a button I haven't pushed, or something like that.
Yeah, so with Zoom, on the bottom of your screen, and I mentioned this in my workshop as well, so if you want to actually see my screen from that other training,
I'll do that, so you don't have to take up a lot of time, because
okay.
I watch your videos a lot, so I'll just do that.
Okay,
Because
sounds good.
I don't want to take up everybody's time. I know how it is to be new in this, because I'm still new, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah. And again, any questions that you have, I'm going to put my contact information below for anyone who does have any questions. If you do need more help with that sharing screen option, I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
I'll just go back and look at some of those old videos.
Awesome. Yes.
Laura, I've been new since April and I'm still scared.
Well, that's good to know.
So listen, I'm literally like forgetting steps and finding myself later on going, oh shit. So I begun to make myself a checklist or a spreadsheet as to what I need to do, because I literally, I'm not kidding. I forgot a couple of days, and then I forgot to send in the monthly reports, but here's your sign-in sheets, guys. Come on, what's your problem? It's just a matter of getting used to the rhythm of it all. And it will get easier, Laura, I promise.
Yeah. Okay. And then I
Thank
included,
you. I'm sorry, I was muted. Thank you.
And then here's some fun, engaging games that you can play with the child during your Zoom or your lesson. The first one is Mad Libs, I Spy, Zoom In, Guess That Animal, Dance Break, and Karaoke. I know a couple were mentioned, like the word search, Hangman, were also mentioned as well. First one is Mad Libs. On the top left corner, you'll see the URL link where I found all my free printables. But the Mad Libs is also a great academic way of teaching adjectives, nouns, plural nouns, doing constructive criticism or constructive learning, I guess, so that they come up with the things that they need and they get to learn it and then read a silly passage with you. The next one is I Spy, and depending on the age, you can do an I Spy that's catered to them. You can also utilize it in learning aspects. I saw a really cool like science I Spy, where the child was kind of learning new equipment in the for experiments and stuff. So gloves was on there. The pipettes and things like that maybe for an older child that they can kind of put a word to a picture so that they learn it for when they're in the classroom setting. Okay. And then again, my top left is some free I Spy. Okay. The next one can be Guess That Animal, and I've seen it played two ways. The first is kind of you have the child pretend to be an animal and you have to guess it. So move like they move, sound like they move, you know, and then you want to try to try to guess that name. And if they're an older child, they might choose like a more difficult animal. So you might want to put maybe like a certain amount of guesses per animal. Another way that I've seen guess that animal being played is you each think about an animal and then you have to ask, let's say 10 questions to see if you can guess that animal. So can the animal fly? Can the animal swim in the water? You know, things like that, so that you guess that game. And it's more, you know, something that where they have to think critically. Another one, which I love, are dance breaks. I love this freeze dance. I love, there's the floor is lava, things like that, where it just gets them up, pumping, and get started. I don't typically recommend that to be in the middle of the session. So that might be a good thing to do in the beginning or the end, just so that you don't lose their focus in the middle of their session. They're not, you know, their heart rate's not too high and they get distracted for the rest of the session. It might be a good way to start or a good way to end with them. Another is a lot of the girls love Disney princesses, even the guys. So maybe doing a singing break with them, doing karaoke with them, you know, let's sing one song. If you're able to get this, or if you're able to complete this worksheet, you can do a singing break with them. And then some other links that I have are some free, so like books that you can go on with them. Another thing that I actually didn't include in here is a lot of the students that are in Florida that are from K to 10 are eligible for free books. Let me see if I can pull up the site. And so if you know that your child, it's called newworldreading.com. And if you know your child is in Florida, I'm putting it in here. If you know that the child is in Florida, they can actually be delivered free books. Again, this is K through 5. Yes, yeah. I just found that today. So we're going to be sending that out to all of our other tutors. But, you know, all the family has to do is put in the name, the academics of the child, things like that, their school, and they will be sent free books. I'm not too sure how many books a month they get, but free book. But this site, Monkey Pen, also has some free downloadable children's books, and they're actually broken down between the grade level. So it's a nice resource to have as well. And then I actually found this really cool site where you can do some science experiments with the kids. Now, depending on the age, you might not be able to do this with them, but it's just getting them familiar with different science items. You can do a science experiment. I saw one where it was, you know, grab a couple leaves from outside and actually use them to draw. And you kind of go over, you know, what they think is happening, and you can kind of, you know, walk them through you know, how they're able to draw with a leaf, you know. And then I did see some awesome math games. I know that some were included as well, where, you know, it's, there was one with worms and try and make your worm the biggest, and then they have to answer a math problem. Khan Academy is another good source for just like worksheets, quizzes, things like that. But here's some math games. And then I know that there was some mentioned in the chat box. Does anyone else have some good learning materials, anything that they would recommend for summer learning?
I have, I'll have to see how to put it in there. I always use Dad's worksheets. It's a wonderful site. You can download the worksheets and then bring them up to use them in share screen.
I just
And
put it in the chat.
it's just, yeah, Dad's there. Yeah, that one. It's really good.
Does anyone else have any summer activities, summer websites, anything that they found is helps them engage the child better?
I actually been asking the kids, like, what are you doing? What are you going to be doing soon? Or something to that effect. And like this one boy is going to a fair this afternoon. So we got to talk about all of our fair things. And he's all excited for mom is getting a corn dog. So
Aww.
then I started talking to another child who he was telling me, he couldn't tell me, mom was telling me, they go crabbing a lot because they live on the Gulf side. So I incorporated my summer crab in the pail. He had to count how many crabs there were. And I mean, it's simple, but to him it was, oh my goodness, because daddy goes crabbing with him and he's so excited. We worked on this. He wanted to do it 3 times. It's the exact same. I mean, he's nonverbal. He's so low functioning. So it was wonderful.
Aww.
It was great. He doesn't like to color, but we'll be okay with white crabs. It's okay. It was great.
With my younger student, she has never been to the beach. So to teach her how to write, the first thing we do is we get on the whiteboard and I have her draw out a story about her going to the beach, what she would do at the beach. And while she is telling me this story, I am writing the words underneath so that she is correlating the words to the story she is drawing. And learning new words in her vocabulary. And then we discuss the words. That's one activity I've done. The other one is dot to dot about a summer activity, whether it be ice cream. Dot to dots can be in letters or in numbers, and then they get to color the page afterwards. And then of course, beach theme word searches are fun as well. I'm trying to think. I did a virtual tour that you were just showing with one student who always wants to go to Hawaii, and we toured the inside of a volcano, which was really kind of cool. Like I said, with my other student who, like I said, is a skyscraper fan, right at the end of every session, about 10 minutes, we always tour a skyscraper. I'm learning new things as well. As a teacher, I like to remain teachable. And so that's just a few fun things that I've done over the summer.
Yeah. Another thing is Khan Academy has some like questions of the day. Let me see if I can find it. Which can go really, like, they're weird questions, they're different questions, like something that you wouldn't typically come up with, like, if you were a sandwich, what sandwich would you be? Things like that, where it's kind of silly, you know. Let me see if I can find it to put it in here. If not, I'll put it in.
It's not silly. We were playing that sandwich game in high school. Trust me, it's not. It's so much fun.
And then another thing is for the students that you have that are hitting a big benchmark come the next school year, you can utilize that excitement. You know, if they're going from elementary to middle school, you can kind of help them on what to expect in middle school, as well as just get them excited for, being bigger, getting more grown up, like, or if it's middle school to high school, like just going over that process and what to look forward. I know in our drive, we have the Florida benchmarks. So if you know that the child is going into 5th grade, you can utilize those skills, and then you can let them know, like, you're a big kid now, like, here's some things that you're going to go over in whatever grade you're going on into next, whether they're getting out from kindergarten and getting out from pre-K and going into kindergarten, or kindergarten into elementary school, things like that as well. Yes, Laura?
Okay, I have 2 quick questions. Is there a video on how to utilize Khan Academy in Zoom?
No, but I can definitely make a video on that. I'm going to be doing a couple of videos. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's one I need. And the, see, what was the other one? I'm not thinking very well today. It was kind of important too. If I think about it, I'll ask later.
Okay, and then I'll put in my contact information in the text box. So if you do remember your question or the video that you would like, just let me know and I'll work on it. I typically work on videos on Fridays, so those videos won't come out till, you know, probably Friday come Monday. I'll be done editing
Okay.
that and doing all of that. And yes, did you have another question or did you remember?
I'm sorry. I'm no, ignore me.
You're okay. Okay, so that concludes today's workshop. You know, if you guys could please, you know, either scan this barcode. I did send out a link with just kind of reviewing how today's lesson went or workshop went. This helps me a lot with, I always want to grow. You know, I know you, someone said like always learning, you know, like as a teacher, you're not just, you're always learning new things. And I want to learn that as well. So if you do ever have anything that I can grow with, please follow the link or put your camera towards it. And I'll be sending out a link later today. A link was on earlier today. And I can stay on later if you guys had different questions, not regarding the how to make summer learning engaging, and kind of for our new tutors as well. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and then